Hello, Word fans, and welcome back to another episode of Hello Word, your daily dose of English vocabulary. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we explore a word that you've undoubtedly heard many times before. Today's word is classic. So, what exactly does classic mean? Well, as a B2 level noun, classic refers to a top example of its kind, something that is considered to be of the highest quality and enduring appeal. Think of it as the gold standard, the benchmark against which other things are measured. It often implies a sense of timelessness, elegance, and widespread recognition. In everyday language, we use classic to describe things that are not only excellent but also representative of a particular style, period, or genre. Now, let's delve into some synonyms for the word classic. A great synonym is definitive. For example, this biography is considered the definitive account of her life. Another useful synonym is archetypal. We can say, Sherlock Holmes is the archetypal detective. We can also use the word exemplary as a synonym. For example, her performance was exemplary and earned her rave reviews. Furthermore, vintage can sometimes be used, especially when referring to items from the past. You could say they own a vintage car from the 1950s. Another synonym to consider is traditional, like in the sentence, she opted for a traditional wedding dress. Now, let's explore the opposite side of the spectrum and consider some antonyms for classic. One antonym is modern. For instance, he prefers modern architecture to older styles. Another antonym is contemporary. We could say, the gallery features contemporary art. We can also use the word unconventional as an antonym. An example sentence is, her style is quite unconventional, setting her apart from the crowd. Furthermore, the word new can serve as an antonym in many contexts. Consider, the company is launching a new line of products. Another useful antonym is trendy, as in, those clothes were trendy last year, but not anymore. So, how can we use the word classic in our everyday lives? Well, you might say, that's a classic movie when referring to a film like Casablanca or Citizen Kane. You might describe a friend's style as classic and elegant. Someone might say, this is a classic example of poor planning. You might even use it sarcastically, saying, that's a classic mistake, when someone makes a very common error. Here are some more examples of classic in sentences and phrases. She's wearing a classic little black dress. He collects classic cars. The restaurant serves classic Italian dishes. It's a classic case of too little, too late. He delivered a classic performance on stage. That's a classic rock song. Her classic beauty is admired by everyone. The book is a classic of English literature. This is a classic example of his work. It's become a classic tale. So, to recap, classic means a top example of its kind, and it often implies timelessness and excellence. We explored synonyms like definitive, archetypal, exemplary, vintage, and traditional, and antonyms like modern, contemporary, unconventional, new, and trendy. We also looked at various ways to use classic in everyday conversations. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word today. I hope you found this episode helpful and informative. Before we wrap up, I have a small request. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and leave a review. Your support helps other English language learners find our show and benefit from our content. And now for your homework. I encourage you to create your own sentence using the word classic and share it in the comments below. I'm excited to see what you come up with. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring the wonderful world of words.